What's up, guys? Kicksbyamir here, back with another YouTube video. Today's interview is actually a really interesting interview. Instead of a YouTuber like the usual ones, we have an artist with us by the name of Kiru. So let's go ahead and bring him on to the stage. How are you doing today?
What's up, Amir? It's really dope that you have me here. I'm super excited to chat. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, actually. I just woke up from a nap, so now it's like go time to bring the people what they want, another interview. So yeah, if you guys want to see more interviews, make sure to comment below. If you guys just to kick it off, if you guys really like to hear what Kyru's talking about, his music, or check out his YouTube channel, it will also be linked down below. Go ahead and click it, stream his music. He I believe just had an album out, or that's coming out. Probably by the time this goes out, it'll probably be around.
Yeah, by the time this is out, it'll be out.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so do you want to go ahead and tell the people a little bit about what you're about, like what the music's about, like what do you do, kind of thing?
Yeah. So I'm Kiru. I am an artist, and I've been doing music for. Someone asked me the other day. I don't remember who, but I've been talking to a lot of people about this kind of stuff lately, but I've been doing music for just about 10 years now. And so it's definitely like been a labor of love, and I'm an alternative artist. I learned how to make music when I was in like middle schools or high schools, when I started learning how to like produce. And yeah, I mean, I make alternative music. Some of my biggest inspirations are like Kanye, Lana, Frank Ocean, and I feel like my sound is kind of a mix of probably those majorly. And I talk about, I mean, all sorts of things in my music, just like wherever life takes me. Is that like, I've never really done a YouTube intro before, so you're like first one.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. I think that perfectly summed it up because you talked about a little bit about your inspirations, and what kind of style of music you are. So if you guys like music by Frank Ocean or Kanye, which I don't know how you wouldn't know who those people are, go ahead and click the link. Especially if you're on like a sneaker channel, you definitely know who Kanye West is, like with Yeezy and stuff like that.
You better know who Kanye West is.
If you don't, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed. But yeah, people know him for a bunch of different reasons these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about a little bit about the album that you have coming. It's at this point, guys, it's Thursday, June 25th. I always like to say the date so they know when we're filming. But go ahead and talk about your album, the release date, and what. Hopefully, I can time this video with around the time of your album release, so you can go ahead and kind of talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the album's coming out so soon, so like I have no idea. I don't feel like pressured on my account, but June 28th is actually when the album is coming out. So literally on Monday. So I'm super excited because this is my first official album, right? I have 12 songs that ended up on there. I have a really dope producer circle that held me down to help me kind of refine the concept of the album. So it's kind of just going through this journey of someone who is kind of stepping out of this shell. Like I make music for people who like want to get free, who want to explore the expanse of who they are, who want to express themselves in a fuller way. Like I'm sure you know, so often in life, like we're kind of told when we're kids, like the world is yours, life is what you make it. And then when we get older, they're like, you have to do this, you have to do that, and you have to dress this way, you have to look like that, you have to sound like this, and all that. Can I swear on here? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like I've never even, I don't usually think to even ask that, but even just with the way that we show affection or the way that we interact with our friends, like there's constant policing of like who we should and should not be, and it really boxes so many of us in. And so I feel like my music and my art overall, because I'm like a social artist and I do a lot of different as an artist does, right? But I feel like I just want to express myself transparently in whatever stage of my journey that I'm on. And Of course, it's definitely very therapeutic for me, but with the concept of like putting out an album for other people to listen to, it should also have that same resonance with listeners. So things like Break the Cycle, Free Your Mind, that was the first single that came out. It's this really, really dope song that's just like, break the cycle, free your mind. It's hard to handle, but you've got to try. Like when you're overwhelmed with all that's going on around you, you can. I think sometimes we get overwhelmed and we feel like I can't do this, I can't. But who said that quote that's like, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So all the power really is in our hands. What we were told when we were kids, like life is what you make it, the world is yours. None of that ever stopped being true. We just decided to accept the changed narrative that somebody else offered or forced upon us. So my music in a very real sense is an opportunity for people to get free. So that's kind of what you're going to hear on Saints in the Garden.
Yeah, that's a really powerful message with your music. That's really dope. I mess with stuff like that. It's pretty like holistic, right? To like, because people do have that like preconceived notion like when you're a kid, like you hear it like around you, like, oh, the world's what you make it, like chase your dreams, all that stuff. And then when you chase your dreams, the people around you won't necessarily support it. Like they'll be like, oh, why are you doing this? You're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing this. So like I totally understand you on that. And I think a lot of people are gonna resonate with that when they come to listen to music. Because I think a lot of times music is people are drawn to the story, right? It's like unintentional too. Sometimes people don't even realize that they're drawn to the story, but the certain like mood in the music kind of represents like the story. And I'm sure with your album, you're doing something similar. So can't wait for that. And if you guys want to go ahead and check it out, it should be out now. I think I'll release the video probably like a week, maybe a week and a half from now. So hopefully it could help people stream your album.
Lit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, we talked about music influences, but what about like performances? I know we talked about it a little bit before. You have on your like your website that you have a couple performances coming up. How have those gone in the past? Like how many performances maybe have you done? Go ahead and just tell everyone about that.
Yeah. So since like coming to New York City, I have not done that many shows. And also since like only having like a few singles here and there out and not really having like a full project out, my performance track has been a little less than maybe some of my contemporaries. I would say that there are some things in the works right now. The things that are up on the website are just kind of the most recent shows that are over. But by the time this video is airing, there should be new performances up. I can't really talk to anything just yet, but I'm excited because it's always a lot of fun. I do different shows, mainly in downtown Manhattan. I've done I think 2 shows in Brooklyn since I've been here. And it's always fun because as an independent artist, you're really like on the ground. I mean, you're on a stage, but you're on the ground, like meeting different people, you know? And you have other artists who are there and you get to mix and mingle with those artists, but you also get to meet some of their fans and friends and sometimes family members who you build connections with, and they start to listen to your music. They want to do some sort of collaboration with you. They want to promote you, like whatever the case may be. There's just something really special about being in that type of space. And so as I continue to grow as an artist and as my audience continues to grow and as I start to go onto bigger stages, it's crazy because like I grew up in the church and I used to sing on a lot of like large stages as like a church kid. But I grew up in like a very strict conservative Christian environment. So it was like very much the music that I sing or write is not really accepted there. So there wasn't a whole lot of crossover, but maybe that'll change in the future. Maybe more people will kind of see and feel, right? Because it's really at the end of the day, like you can say whatever you want, but it's really like how people make you feel. And you were talking earlier, and I'm not going to take too long on this because like I know you have some more questions, but and I know this is not like the performance question, but you mentioned earlier about how like sometimes people tell us that we can't do what we want to do. Like when we start to talk about our dreams, and that's why people are like so careful, and you should be so careful about like who you tell your dreams and your visions to, because there's so much negativity out there. There's someone who recently passed away, and I was taking a moment to reflect on them. And because I was seeing, all over the place, like this person died. And the only memory I have of that person is when they told me, like they emphatically expressed to me that I had like unrealistic dreams, that I should not want to be a music artist, that I should not want to be an entrepreneur, that I should not want to chase any of the dreams that I had articulated. And that's the only memory that I have of them, is that moment. We've interacted with each other like several times, but that's just the power of the way that you make people feel when you encounter them, no matter who you are, no matter what you say. And so I think about that in the context of my music as well. It's like when you hear this music, even if this is not like your specific story, right? This music is here to liberate you. And I think that's the power of it. But you just triggered that in me when you're talking about how sometimes people tell us like not to go for our dreams or whatever. But in terms of like performances, like you asked, yeah, I've done like a few. I did Fashion Week, which was a really exciting one. That was probably my most exciting one, because there's like, all these people in like the VIP section, and you get to like, you're just like really close with them, and you get to interact with them. I'm not sure, like I'm kind of half with like the phones in the face, even though I'm like Gen Z and like grew up on technology, but I'm still like, I really want people to kind of, if they're not there with me because they're on a phone, that's an issue. But if they're there with me and it's like all super hype and they just bring that energy, it really doesn't matter if they have a phone or not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's like with what you said about the person who told you no. I think it's also important to acknowledge that a lot of times negativity is what like impacts people more than positivity. Right. Like, I think like, for example, if I were to like make a YouTube video and it got like 10 likes, but 1 dislike, the 1 dislike is going to hurt me more than the 1 like, if that makes sense. Because it like stands out. Right. It like kind of hurts your ego a little bit, hurts your
yeah.
feelings, your aspirations. So I definitely understand that. Another question that I was going to ask is like, for like maybe smaller artists or people that are maybe trying to like start their career as a musician, what would be like tips that you'd have, or like how do you I know we talked about it a little bit before the interview, but how do you like book your performances? Like, how does that all come to be for like smaller artists that are maybe trying to do the same thing?
Yeah. So the number one tip that I had for like finding different venues or radio shows or anything like that is straight up, and I've never been affiliated with them, but go to indieonthemove.com. So if you actually want to like add that in the description, maybe that would be helpful for any independent artist. There's so many resources there for free. I mean, you can definitely subscribe and get access to some of the additional features, but if you're looking for different venues, it really doesn't even matter what city you're in. If you're looking for different contacts, there is a wealth of information there. And if you're looking for any resources and tips as it pertains to like the music industry, they have a wealth of information there as well. There is a book though that I have read, and I just got one of the newest versions of this book because it's constantly updated, because the music industry is constantly updated. The laws are changing, and the technology is changing. So there's a book by I don't think he's currently a lawyer. I think he's just a former practicing lawyer. His name is Donald S. Passman. And he wrote this book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business. And so that'll give you all the information that you need to know about performance rights organizations like BMI or ASCAP. It'll give you all the information you need to know about different digital streaming platforms, about bringing on a talent manager, like what their role is and how they get paid, when they get paid, how much they get paid, and royalties from streaming, royalties from a label. If you are signing with a label, what kind of things you need to look for in the contract. So many people, especially in our generation, are getting over because they're not reading. So that's another piece of advice. Read so much. People, they get overwhelmed with the concept of reading because they feel like, I only have so much time. But if you are building a career out of this, this beginning part is one of the most critical parts, because you're setting yourself up for how you want to see, like a career is something that's going to last for decades, right? People go in when they're like 20 something and then they leave somewhere between their 60s and their 80s usually. So it's really important that you pay really close attention and that you read, or else you're going to end up poor and working at a retail store when you also have performances that you have to show up to, and you have appearances that you have to make, but you don't have like the money that you thought you would have. So always read. And then one more thing that I think is chief, like most important above all of this, especially now before you are fully like into the music business or into collaborations with other artists or producers, make sure that you use all of your power to build positive experiences in your life. And this really is like, maybe, you know, there's some people who aren't musicians or who are still watching. Like, this is really for everybody. Make sure if you're going into entrepreneurship, if you're just going into a regular 9 to 5, make sure you equip yourself or build positive experiences in your life, because that note that Amir made is really important. I had no intention of like sharing this. I had no idea we were even going to talk about this tonight. Is like, there is a study, and I'm curious to know if it's been updated. I'm going to go and check that out. But in my independent research, I realized that it takes 5 positive experiences on average to counteract 1 negative experience. So that's why like that 1 dislike is more powerful than the handful of likes that you got, because that is that like physiologically there is a negative impact that is so much greater than the power or the capacity of 1 single positive experience. So build positive experiences. Make sure you surround yourself with people who love you, who are interested in seeing you win, who are going to support you, who are resourceful. Make sure that you are also sending that same energy out into the world that you want to receive back, because you're going to go through hard times. Everyone's going to go through hard times. Don't pretend that you're not going through hard times. If you are going through hard times, make sure that you surround yourself with people who can support you in the good times and the bad times, because it's going to be some of both. So yeah, I could talk a little more about that, but those are pretty much the basics: is read, and I don't even get those resources, read, and also make sure that you take advantage of every opportunity to build positive experiences.
Cool, perfect. So another question that I have that you kind of mentioned was like how you said the book talks about like different streaming platforms and whatnot. How, for like a smaller artist, like what platforms do you have your music on, and like how did you get your music onto those platforms? Is it as simple as like looking it up and like tapping a button, or like is there an application process? How does it all work?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on what service you use. I remember about 10 years ago, I was using Reverb Nation, and then things got. I mean, there's still like TuneCore and CD Baby, DistroKid. I use Ditto Music, which is based in the United Kingdom. There are so many different options, though, and they all have different features attached to them. For example, like I, as an independent artist, using this particular distributor, I hadn't been able to manage certain artist profiles. So like I'm on all of the major DSPs, or the digital streaming platforms, the Tidal, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, you name it. I'm on all of them. I just don't have access to control all of the artist profiles. As like time continues, I have access to control more and more of them, but I don't have access to control all of them because, you know, sometimes it's just different partnerships between the distributor and the streaming platform. But is there another element to the question, or did I answer it? I mean,
No,
there's like,
I think
you can
that's
sign up for whichever one works for
yeah,
you.
just to know if it was like individual by platform or if it was like a collected thing. I feel like most of the artists or people that I know that make music do like one collective thing, and then their music from that, how you mentioned, gets pushed out onto these platforms.
Yeah, I mean, because imagine like sending your single to like all of these dozens of streaming platforms around the world. No way.
Yeah, it would just be, and I feel like that'd get like individually lost and like lost in transmission, right? Like I feel like you would never see your single get on on the platform with how much music would probably get uploaded if that was the case, right? Like if you had to email
Yeah.
your file to like Apple Music, I feel like it would take forever to get your song out there. Which is kind of mess everything up. Like you could have a song released like 3-4 months later than you actually like intended for it to release.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why, like, definitely, I know we can be real hype about like our music in the moment, but like you have to have like a plan, a release plan, because it's gonna be a hot second. My album was done like a year ago, so keep that in mind as well.
Mm-hmm. Just when planning it out, and probably with your performances too, right? I'm assuming you'll play a lot of your new stuff once the album releases and stuff, just to get people more excited for the new music, especially if they've heard you before. You'll probably have like the classic stuff and then a couple more things to perform for them. So
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing how your performance journey goes, how the album does. I know we'll keep in touch, obviously, but yeah, I think it's been about 20 minutes, so we can go ahead and wrap up. Is there anything you wanted to go ahead and like promote really quick, just to tell people to listen to music? The link will be in the description, so go for it. I'll give you the stage real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like the number one thing right now. I'm super hype about it. I'm releasing my first ever official album. It's called Saints in the Garden. Literally, you can look like Kiru, Kiru. Apple Music doesn't quite respect my name just yet, so they like don't spell it in all capital letters, but it's cool. We'll figure it out. I will call somebody. But find my album, go download that sucker, listen to it, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on YouTube. Actually follow me on all the platforms at High as Kai, HIGHASKI. So we can stay connected. And definitely, if you're in the New York City area, come see me, come to a live show or any of the events that I'm working at, because I work in fashion and jewelry as well. So lots of dope stuff. I don't think there's anything else that I have to plug though. So it's just the album. Let's listen to it.
Go ahead and listen to the album, guys. The link will be down in the description. Feel free to click it, check it out. I might also link the Instagram, just because I know if you go on his Instagram bio, you can click it and it will take you to all the different things as well. So I might link that because he has a website that's pretty cool, pretty neat. So if you guys wanted to go ahead and check it out, make sure to click that link in the description. If you guys like today's interview, make sure to like the video below and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Also, subscribe to Kiru's YouTube channel or Kyrie's YouTube channel as well if you guys haven't. He uploads dope content with the music and stuff. So feel free to check both of our channels out if you guys haven't seen them before. With that said, guys, thank you for watching and catch you next time. Bye.
Peace.